Originally published in the Hana to Yume magazine by Hakusensha, Colette wa shinu koto ni shita ran from 2014 until 2021 with a total of 21 volumes. The author, Alto Yukimura, is no stranger to writing fantastical romance manga, having written 600 peiji no misteri, the story of a romance between a girl who loves the library and a librarian, and Fukuemon Reisu, a compilation of 4 romance stories. While neither of these volumes have the strong sense of fantasy that her later works do, they do set the tone of an ever-soft kindness that can only exist in a fantastical world. And this theme of soft kindness is ever present in all of her works. In late 2024, Colette Decides to Die was picked up by the English manga publisher Viz Media in their Shoujo Beat imprint, and they began publishing the English translations as 2-in-1 omnibuses. Currently, there are 3 omnis published in English, equaling 6 total single volumes. That means there's only about 7 omnis left until it's all over. What puts Colette above all other shoujo manga in my eyes, you may be wondering? There are so many reasons that I love this manga, so I'm going to try breaking down my thinking into 5 distinct reasons. For my first reason, and these are not in any particular order, Colette is an incredibly capable female lead. When we are first introduced to Colette, she is overworked to the point that she accidentally falls down a well. When she wakes up, she notices that she's in a dark cell with talking skeletons on the other side. Even when faced with this, a scenario that would leave most people absolutely hopeless, she couldn't be less bothered and sets up to take a much-needed rest. I think that this was a fantastic introduction to her character, as throughout the series, we're shown time and time again just how resilient and independent a character she is. While she does lean on those around her when necessary, she doesn't make a habit of it, and tends to try to figure things out for herself before asking anyone for help. There is always something so refreshing about capable female leads in shoujo manga that characters like Colette always draw me in. Thankfully, these sorts of characters are becoming more and more common, causing me a much-needed, stress-less reading environment. My second reason is that the driving motivation for both Colette and Hades is not, I want a relationship. Both Colette and Hades have things that are important to them outside of the other. While Colette clearly has feelings for Hades, she doesn't drop her entire life for just a chance at spending time with him. Colette has her own life, her own family, and her own career that are all a big priority for her, alongside Hades. And Hades understands this, and likewise, Hades treasures his vassals and his career alongside Colette. There is an energy of mutual respect between the two of them, where they both understand how important the other's job is to them. We will never see Hades getting upset with Colette for choosing to work hard rather than laze about with him, and vice versa. Many of the volumes in this series follow the format of Colette doing things independently in the human world, Hades doing things independently in the underworld, and Colette coming to visit Hades. This way, we get to enjoy watching both Colette and Hades develop independently as well as a couple. This format also really allows the reader to understand each of their characters much more clearly than if we were only ever shown them when they were together. If we were only ever shown Colette and Hades when their romantic relationship was progressing, we would never know about, say, why Colette works so hard to be reliable at her job, or about why Hades' vassals are so obsessed with him. We also wouldn't have learnt about Caron's secret, nor would we know about what Colette did when she went to the heavens. And that brings me to my third reason, the lovable side characters. I don't think I've ever enjoyed the side characters in a manga as much as I do in Colette. When we're first introduced to Colette, we're also introduced to her 2 disciples. While at first they're rather hopeless, throughout the series, we get to slowly watch them become more and more capable, allowing Colette to rely on them. Still on Colette's side, we get to meet her disciple siblings, Mary and Itan, and through them we get to learn more about Colette's past. Even taking Colette out of the picture, both Mary and Itan are rather rounded out characters, and their story is actually incredibly interesting. Through Colette, we also get to see some more fantastical characters, such as a nymph in the heavens and a talking otter in the underworld. Moving on though, through Hades, we get to see a lot of the skeleton vassals that serve him in the underworld. In the first few volumes, we see the vassals through Hades' perspective, but slowly, as they appear more in the story, we get to see things through the skeletons' perspective. We see them in their daily lives, arguing about who likes Lord Hades more, and talking about how Colette isn't good enough for their lord. All in good spirits, though. We also meet Charon, who Hades personally hired to row the boat, moving souls in the underworld. Charon and Colette develop a very cute relationship, but we get to watch Charon interact with both Hades and Colette, and the rest of the side characters residing in the underworld. We are also even given instances of stories told from Charon's perspective, allowing us to learn a lot more about them. Apart from those met through Colette and Hades, one of the more often seen side characters in this manga is the other gods. We get to see Hades' brothers, Zeus and Poseidon, but we also get to see many other gods, both larger gods and lesser, randomly throughout the series. There are a few that make constant reappearances, like Dionysus and Hermes, and I specifically mention these two as they are two of the godly side characters that we learn quite a bit about. We're given quite a bit of backstory as to exactly why they're always together, and it was so touching I could cry. The side characters having such touching, thought-out stories is one of the reasons why I just love this series so much. My fourth reason is that reading this manga will make you feel things that you didn't even know that you could feel. While this is an incredibly feel-good, lovable story, that doesn't mean it doesn't shy away from darker themes. In order to really enjoy the high points of a story, there needs to be equally low parts, and Yukimura executes this perfectly. Take Colette's old mentor's story. Spoiler warning. Colette, after being the sole survivor of a plague in her town, was taken in by her soon-to-be mentor. While it took her a while to open up to him, once she did, she found a new family in him and the other disciples. After growing up and moving out, she hears tales of him going on a journey. In the back of her mind, she's excited to one day see him again, to show him that she mastered his teachings. But she's met with the devastating news that he passed away in the underworld. Not being able to accept the news, Colette sneaks away to the place that spirits reside in the underworld, waiting to be reborn. And she does find the spirit of her master, who claims to not belong in paradise, as he was unable to save his wife while they were both alive. He sees his inability to catch her illness fast enough to disallow him from being seen as anything but a fraud, and cannot accept any happiness. We find out that his wife has yet to be reincarnated, meaning that she is also residing somewhere in paradise. When Colette resolves to reunite the two, Hades dissuades her, teaching her about exactly how this paradise works. The longer a soul resides in paradise, the smaller and more childlike they become. The smaller they become, the less memories of their past lives are retained, and eventually, once they have forgotten everything, they move on to their next life. And her master's wife has been in paradise for quite a while at this point. It's highly unlikely that she even remembers him. And she doesn't. They do get reunited, and he deeply apologizes for not being able to save her, but she doesn't even know what he's talking about. And while she doesn't remember him, she does remember the song that he wrote for her when they first started dating, as it resonated deep within her. And while this is where the main story of Colette's master ends, it's not the last that we see of him. Every once in a while, we see him watching over Colette and Hades, and while we do have to witness him slowly forget who Colette is, he does continue to hold the feeling of wanting her to be happy throughout his time on the paper. I might not be able to do it justice, but his story was incredibly touching and sad, but it had the lingering sense of hope. And that's just a small slice of what this manga has to offer. The last reason that I love this manga so much is that it puts emphasis on the importance of working hard, doing what you love, but also the importance of taking breaks. We first meet Colette when she overworks herself to the point of exhaustion, and when she meets Hades, he was also overworking himself, even though he was clearly very ill. It's only through learning that they can both depend on the other and those around them that they slowly begin understanding the importance of taking a break every now and then. Colette is always on when she's out in the world, and we see this constantly work to her favor. When she helps out injured villagers, they are more than happy to give her food and a place to stay as a way of saying thanks. And it's not just in Colette and Hades, but we also get to watch as a good majority of the side characters work hard to pursue their dreams. They don't always achieve their goals, but they do always get some sort of reward for persevering. Just like in real life, just because you worked hard doesn't mean you're going to get exactly what you want. But good things do come to those who try, and that's what this manga teaches.